I varied the first exercise by doing a different cross between jumps 6 and 7. The first time through, I'll do a blind cross. The second time I do it, I do a front cross, and then the third time I did a rear cross. When I looked at the film and figured out how long each sequence took, I was very surprised to find that the front cross sequence took almost 7/10 of a second less than the other two. And that's despite the fact that I really didn't think the front cross, I thought the front cross felt kind of awkward. Here's a comparison between the blind cross and the front cross. And what I found out was at this jump, Belle just went long and was never able to make up for that extra time compared to the front cross. Now we'll try a rear cross. I thought this would be kind of slow because I had to slow down and wait for Belle to pass me. But as it turned out, it was no slower than the one I did with the blind cross. Here's a comparison between the front cross and the rear cross. They're pretty similar. Problem is, I pull Belle to the middle of the bar, and she loses the 7/10 of a second in the wide turn. I was only able to think of 2 different ways to handle this exercise. One way was by going to the outside of these 2 jumps. Made me feel very dynamic. And then my other thought was to say, stay on the left of those 2 jumps. Not quite as much work for me. When I did the time comparisons, I was very surprised to find that the times were very similar, as you can see in these comparisons. Definitely less handling was just as effective as more in this case. The third exercise proved to be a little more challenging than the other 2. We did nicely through the opening. I actually threw almost the whole thing until I tried to do a rear cross and pull Belle to the other end of the tunnel. So we'll scratch that idea. A rear cross is just not going to work. That front cross was quite late, especially considering I was layering a jump. This time I'm really early and get Belle into me nicely. Rear blind cross, and I call her name and push her into the tunnel. Notice when I go on the inside of this jump, the timing on the front cross isn't nearly as critical. I was surprised when I looked at all the video footage and found that of the successful ways, there wasn't very much difference in time at all. I mean, just a 1/10 of a second, maybe 2/10 of a second.